Welcome to Creator's Head Studio. I'm Tom Arcu, feature film producer, director, screenwriter, and novelist.
And I'm John Colton, creator of ColtonComics.com and writer of Paul Bunyan versus Dracula.
It's Christmas time, and we're glad you're here, and we're going to celebrate Christmas films, and we're going to have a countdown. We're going to count down our top 3 favorite Christmas films.
My number 3 is The Man Who Invented Christmas.
Oh.
And it was about Charles Dickens' writing of A Christmas Carol.
Oh, there it is.
And it has your typical great British actors in it. I think Christopher Plummer and Jonathan Pryce
excellent
are both in it. They do an amazing job. But what blew me away about this movie was just the story about this book and how that was just as interesting as the story itself.
Excellent.
In that I didn't know before seeing this, because obviously, as a writer,
yes,
you learn something about Dickens along the way, right?
Oh, yes.
What I didn't know was how much he was struggling to pay the rent and take care of his family. Whenever someone's like really famous, successful writer, we kind of assume that they were always that way. And at this point in his life, he had had a couple hits. It was really trying to come up with his next hit so that he could keep everybody fed and clothed.
Humbug.
What is?
Christmas.
What about it?
Well, I mean, what is it but an excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December?
Yeah, keep going.
A time for paying bills without money. A time for finding yourself a year older and not an hour richer. If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled in his own plum pudding.
It delves into his childhood, and his dad spent time in debtor's prison.
Wow.
During which time little Charlie Dickens had to go to work. The jobs back then were not great.
Yeah.
Well,
there's plenty of them not great right now, too.
Right. It was fascinating because it kind of showed me how when he writes about the pickpockets on the street and the life of Oliver Twist, he's writing what he knows.
Exactly.
And he's taking from his own life. Just really had to overcome a lot of hardship and adversity.
For my number 3, it's the animated How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And I will always remember the part where he first has to run after the sleigh and save the life of his dog, who is dressed up as a reindeer. And then they're both trying to stop the sleigh from falling from the top of a cliff. And there is a moment where it talks about how his heart had become 3 times the size that it was, and how he suddenly had the power of 10 Grinches, and that's when he saves the day. And what strikes me, and what will be kind of a theme with my 3 films, is friendship and heart and being extraordinary, and to discover something extraordinary inside you. And that's what happens with the Grinch. But he had to be led in that direction when he saw that the Who's of Whoville celebrated being together. They didn't need the tree and all the trappings of Christmas. And there's even a line in there that Christmas was something that was not bought in a store. And a couple of other lines that appeal to me include, Christmas Day is in our grasp, so long as we have hands to clasp. Christmas Day will always be, just as long as we have we. And I think about us as friends and as screenwriters together, that we is powerful, we is something to celebrate, and we is about Christmas.
Chuck Jones is the director. Who directed most of what we now call the hit Looney Tunes cartoons from Warner Brothers that are classic favorites. And they stayed true to the source material.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
If you watch the cartoon and you read the book, there's not a ton of difference. My number 2 is Scrooged with Bill Murray. And it's kind of a twist on A Christmas Carol.
A theme is going on here.
Yeah. It takes place in the 80s, and it's directed by Richard Donner, who directed Goonies and Superman and Lethal Weapon 1, 2, 3, and I think 4. Just a fantastic director. But it's kind of a darker, more cynical version of A Christmas Carol. And Bill Murray is just fantastic in it, but also Karen Allen. I think it might be my favorite movie with her in it as far as her performance.
And Karen Allen, of course, is from Indiana Jones.
It's just kind of interesting seeing all that dynamic from, with a corporate television twist to everything.
Okay.
And one of the things that Scrooge kind of helped me realize about A Christmas Carol that I probably didn't get until I saw that movie was this idea that Ebenezer Scrooge is the hero of the movie or the story.
Right.
And we kind of think of him as the villain. It's part of the reason why Dickens is such a great writer, is because he is the villain of the story. He's also the hero.
Right. And he gets redemption. That's why he has redemption. So it makes it tied into the theme of humanity and Christmas and hope and doing something soulful.
Right.
That takes me right into number 2, which is Die Hard, 1988's action film with Bruce Willis. What I remember big time about Die Hard is the friendship between John McClane, played by Bruce Willis, and then there's the sergeant, Al Powell. And the thing is, as I was watching parts of that film just recently, what's very powerful is that these are two men who connect by having telephone conversations. I mean, on the walkie-talkie. But the point is, they really connect, and the friendship part really captures my attention. These two guys who probably wouldn't connect if they just happened to meet, they connect by talking and revealing things, and they're in a dire situation. I was also struck by the power of music, because when they meet each other, they have just been like troopers going through a really tough situation. And then the other thing that happens here is there's a huge redemption thing. And that's a theme that's kind of showing up in these details about the Christmas movies I like. There's a huge redemption thing where Sergeant Al Powell, he accidentally shot a 13-year-old kid, but at the end of Die Hard, he saves everybody from a villain with an assault rifle because he actually uses his firearm and he defends everybody and he saves them. So it's a thing he says earlier while he's talking to Bruce Willis, his character, John McClane. He says, you go to the academy, but they don't teach you how to live with a mistake. And now this character can feel that I've had a mixed life, but I was there and I did exactly what was needed in a situation where I protected everybody. I really am moved by the idea of somebody having redemption, and I'm really moved by a great friendship.
I want to say, I think you hit on something really great there, but also what terrific writing to give a backstory to what is essentially a tertiary character, and not only give a backstory to not one of the main characters, but also give a redemption arc.
And you can protect your film by learning what are the darkest secrets of film directing, how successful film directors overcome hidden traps. That's the book, available in print, ebook, and audiobook form. Get your copy today.
But also give a redemption arc to that character. Just fantastic writing.
Excellent.
Just adds another layer to the movie.
What I was taught by my screenwriting mentors, many of your characters should have a character arc. Not every character. I mean, there are certain characters that don't, but many of them should have a character arc. And when you're double checking your screenplay, you look for, did I give them a character arc? Did I fulfill the potential, the promise of these characters? And now
that's a great point.
Thank you.
Yeah. My number one is Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life.
Which is my number one too. Okay.
Okay. So we're tied at number one. It's really all of the reasons that you hear about classically. You know, it's got really great writing.
Yes.
Jimmy Stewart is probably my second favorite actor of all time. If I make a list of my top favorite Westerns, he's in 3 of them. If I make a list of my top favorite films of all time, he's in some of those. And he's also in my favorite Christmas movie. So go figure. But I think what's fun about the movie to me is it got trashed by the critics when it first came out. And they said it was too cornball, it was cheesy, and all this negative nonsense.
Okay.
Because it's at its core, it's about a father with a family who is looking at committing suicide as a way to solving his problems.
To save me.
Well, I did, didn't I? You didn't go through with it, did you?
Go through with what?
Suicide.
Oh, it's against the law to commit suicide around here.
Yeah, it's against the law where I come from, too.
Oh, where do you come from?
Heaven. I had to act quickly. That's why I jumped in. I knew if I were drowning, you'd try to save me. You see, you did. And that's how I saved you.
Very funny.
Your lip's bleeding, George.
Yeah. I got a bust in the jaw in answer to a prayer a little bit ago.
Oh, no, George. I'm the answer to your prayer. That's why I was sent down here.
How'd you know my name?
Oh, I know all about you. I've watched you grow up from a little boy.
What are you, a mind reader or something? Well, who are you then?
Clarence Oddbody, AS2.
Oddbody. AS2, what's that AS2?
Angel, second class.
Here's George Bailey, who is just absolutely desperate.
Yes.
And doesn't know what to do or where to go. He can't complain to his wife because, you know, he doesn't want to come across as weak or incompetent or stupid.
Right.
And so
or worry her, probably.
He's looking, add worry to her. And he's looking at the ultimate solution and the worst one. And of course, he gets rescued by an angel in a roundabout sort of way.
Yes.
And then is given the opportunity to see what his world would be like if he had never been born.
That's why it's called It's a Wonderful Life. He has led a wonderful life. Now, the thing that stays with me for decades is no man is a failure who has friends. That's the inscription in the Tom Sawyer book that Clarence, the angel, leaves for him. No man is a failure who has friends. I was looking at some people's comments, and one person commented on, if you have friends, you've helped someone, and that is a successful life.
And John, we both came up with the same answer as to what would be the Christmas movie that Superman would call his favorite. Of course, It's a Wonderful Life. Why? Because it's a small town. It is small town, be a good neighbor values. And of course, Superman, as Clark Kent, grew up in Smallville. So it's a wonderful thing, and it's a wonderful life. And that would be Superman's favorite Christmas movie.
It means a lot to me. I know that I approach each day knowing that somehow, some way, I'm going to be kind to someone. And that's part of my commitment to a wonderful life.
The movie has kind of gone through a similar arc as George Bailey. The studio forgot to renew the rights to it at one point.
Yes.
The movie became public domain.
Right.
And that was initially why the TV network started airing it around Christmas. Because it was free content.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Free content.
People started watching it, and, you know, it took on a life of its own.
Yes.
And developed this huge fan base from people that had never seen it in the theaters. And now it's kind of become an American tradition.
What do you look for in a Christmas film, and how has these films lived up to that?
It's something that is uplifting and something that you walk away feeling better than when you started.
Right.
With these, you feel a little bit lighter.
They bring hope that whatever you've been through, your story's not over, that people can come together and do something good. And I'm so glad that you've been here with us and we've had this opportunity to celebrate that human beings can do good. The art can express something good. And by the way, here's something good. We've got wonderful, for the gift-giving season, merchandise here. And we want to let you know that we're very happy with your support. So please continue to like and subscribe. And if you think of someone who's a creator just like you are and you want to help them be inspired, well, Creators Edge Studio, we're here and we'd love for you to enjoy us beyond the videos with what we offer in terms of shirts and mugs and mouse pads and all that kind of stuff, because it is Christmas time and we're so glad that you have shared part of it with us.
Yeah,
Okay.
and if you have a favorite Christmas movie that we did not bring up, feel free to comment below and let us know about it.
Absolutely. We'd love to hear it, and we do appreciate you. And Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
So remember, here at Creators Edge Studio, we don't just talk entertainment.
We create it.